with reason, falling in love with reason, oh, falling in love with reason was the best thing I've ever done. Let me sing that again. Falling in love with reason, falling in love with reason, oh, falling in love with reason was the best thing I've ever done. In my right mind, I feel protected. In my right mind, never disconnected. In my right mind, I feel protected, and there's no place I'd rather be. Come on, y'all, sing it with me this time. In my right mind, I feel protected. In my right mind, never disconnected. In my right mind, I feel protected, and there's no place I'd rather be. So falling in love with reason, oh, falling in love with reason, oh yeah, falling in love with reason was the best thing I've ever done. It was the best thing I've ever done. It was the best thing I've ever done.
jumping. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Hey, hey. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah, we are rising into victory, celebrating our humanity. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Yeah. Check, check, check. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Hey, hey. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Hey. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Hey. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah.
Beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. Beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for community, connection, and beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for community. Beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for community, connection, and conversation. So whether you're watching us live or on the global campus or having a local watch party, or you're about to catch that replay, we're so glad that you chose to join us, okay? Our mission is simple. We are here to help you build better, connect better, and live better. And our values are clear. We are forward thinking. We are people centric. And my favorite, we are life affirming. Okay. I love that. And our why is strong because everything we do revolves around people and the reality that people matter. So this isn't a place for pretending certainty. It is a place for honest thinking, shared responsibility, and shared connection. Okay, so if this is your first time, welcome, loves. We appreciate you, and you don't have to agree with everything. Okay, you don't have to have it all together because everybody don't have it all together. Okay, you are here, and that's what matters. So we hope you enjoy your experience and it leads you to coming back the next week and the next week and the next week and sharing with family and friends, okay? So if you are a first-time guest, we want to share something with you. We have a free gift for you, okay? We said free. Okay, so go ahead and visit bridgecity.app/guest. We'll have it on the screen and in the chat for you as well. This is just a small token of our hospitality, and it's a helpful tool for navigating connection in real time. So go ahead and follow the link on the screen and claim your gift at your convenience. No pressure, okay? Just keep in mind our series message for the month of February is falling in love with reason. Okay, don't we love the wordplay? So we're going to be exploring ways to maximize the relationships in our lives through the lens of reason and asking the question, in the world where old engagement are kind of crumbling here when we're talking about religion, patriarchy, gender norms. And that question we're going to be asking is, can we use reason to reorient ourselves and the way we choose to interact with others? So keep that question in mind as you're listening to each of the sessions for the month of February, because we're talking about friendship, kinship, partnership, and even membership. Okay. By the end of the series, the goal is for us to be a step closer and clearer to making the most out of our relationships. Okay. So before we begin today's conversation, let's go ahead and check over to Bridge City News.
Hey, Bridge City. Happy Sunday, or whatever day it is on your side of the world. I'm Bob Swanson, and I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot growing, shifting, and unfolding, and I want to make sure you're in the loop. Now, you may have noticed some construction. Our global campus has been under construction, and that means new spaces and places to help our members connect. Visit our new Welcome Center to start exploring the growth for yourself. There's an area for first-time guests, new members, volunteers, and even a space where you can ask questions. Any questions. Questions like, want to host a watch party? Have you ever been in the middle of a Sunday session and thought, I wish this was available in my city in person? Well, you could be the person who becomes that spark. Hosting a weekly watch party is the first step to bringing the Bridge City experience to your city. A watch party is a small in-person gathering where friends meet at someone's home or venue to watch the community's weekly online session together, creating a shared experience for community, conversation, and growth. It's about building relationships and community around our mission and message, with hosts providing a welcoming space, food, and discussion, supported by community resources. Visit the link to discover everything you need to start, host, and lead a watch party. Now, coming up in March, mark your calendar. Our movie night feature is going to be John Lewis, Good Trouble. I think this was one of my suggestions. What a wonderful documentary. If you're an activist, a wannabe activist, this is the one to see. John Lewis, you'll learn about his life, and you'll learn about his mission to make good trouble. Now, today I want to show some love and shine a spotlight on our politics club. There is no doubt that beliefs and values inform politics, and this is a great space to explore that interaction. No matter your background or viewpoint, you're welcome to bring your voice, curiosity, and questions. And hey, this is a global community. I guarantee you'll learn all kinds of international politics if you stick around long enough. To all of our new members, welcome. We know that joining a new community, especially online, can be overwhelming. That's why we've been intentionally working on building a campus experience that helps orient you and makes it easy to navigate all that Bridge City is and offers. If you haven't already, visit the link today and make the most of your member experience, because at Bridge City, membership matters. Since the start of the year, more than 20 people have made the decision to connect with Bridge City as their community of choice, and we couldn't be more excited. We're growing faster than we can keep up with, but we want to be intentional about welcoming, celebrating, and engaging our new members. So, starting this month, every last Wednesday night of the month, we're going to be hosting a house party for new members on the global campus. House parties have always been a part of the vision for local campuses for new members to meet the community in a house party environment. Now that we have a global campus, we want to get that community ritual kickstarted virtually. You'll bring the food and the drinks, we'll bring the games, and we'll all have a good time. It's a perfect opportunity to meet other members in the community while having fun and learning more about our vision. Keep an eye out on the event calendar to RSVP. Now, do you want to get involved? As we're starting to grow, we need members to get involved and help us deliver on the experience and power the mission. As people join the global campus, we need volunteers to greet them and welcome them into our community. We need volunteers to help expand the capacity in production and multimedia. We need volunteers to coordinate campus activities and community events. Volunteering isn't just about helping the community look good. It's how we empower the community to actually do good. Every volunteer expands our capacity to support our growing body of members and mobilize around our mission in real time. And it's also the easiest way to build new relationships that make life meaningful. Becoming a volunteer gives you more people to call, more people to laugh with, and more people to face life with. Visit the link on the screen to explore the growing number of opportunities to get involved. And if you don't see anything that piques your interest, reach out to the team. That's about everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for being the bridge. All right, Darante, let's get into today's conversation.
Mom, thank you all. Woo. Yes, man, today I'm so excited. I'm feeling good. And I don't know, it might have been the new song this morning. Did y'all enjoy that? Man? Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Let's listen to it real quick, man. It's such an incredible song. But it just felt good. If y'all could ever see me in the background, I'll be back here clapping and everything. Clapping. Dancing, because it feels good. That's just... Come on, you say that out there. I can hear you. You didn't say nothing. Come on. We can make it over anything. It's such a powerful song, and it just very simple words, and it was just something that I wanted to write. To do something fun for our community, because jalapeno habanero hell yeah is the new hallelujah at Bridge City. And so, man, welcome in everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Man, if this is your first time here, if you're a guest, we have a gift for you. Make sure you get it. It is a gift that will help you reorient yourself, help you connect better, help you explore what connection actually means to you, connecting better to yourself, connecting better to others, and even connecting better to the world around you. This gift is just our way of saying that we love you and that people matter, and we want to help you be the best you that you can. So if this is your first time here, man, go ahead, get your free gift. We're not asking for anything from you. It's not a way to get you on our email list. I promise you don't have to sign up to get it. You just go there and you get it because it's yours. It's free. And maybe you've been coming for a while and we weren't doing this when you first came. Hey, feel free to go in there and get you some too. Look, I love the feedback in the chat, man. The song is fire. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Well, that one will be available on all streaming platforms next week. Speaking of streaming, all of our music now is being released on streaming platforms. So that is a very easy way to support the vision, so if you got 99 problems and time ain't one, then one of the things you can do is stream our music. Every 1,000 streams adds $3 to $5 to the vision to help us continue moving forward. So it's an easy way to support Bridge City, and that's something that we specialize in, is finding ways to make it easy, man, for people to get connected and for people to be a part of what we're doing. Listen, as you're coming in, where are you watching from? Let us know where you're watching from. Are you in Alabama? Are you in Florida? Are you in Canada? Are you in Malaysia? We have members in Japan. Let us know where you're watching from today. Shout out your city. Shout out where you're representing Bridge City from today, so that others will see that you're here. Also, happy belated Valentine's Day for everybody who celebrates it and do all that stuff. We ate well last night. That's what we do on Valentine's Day. We eat. Chesterfield, Virginia is in the building. Come on. The DMV is in the building. Arizona's in the building. Come on. Arizona knows how to party. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Minnesota, look at there. See, when we say that we are Bridge City Global, we're not just saying that to be cute. We're not saying that to brag. We're not saying to put us out here anywhere that we aren't. We're saying it because it's true. We are a global community. We are a global. India, look at there. Come on now. Somebody say global. Global. Speaking of global, yesterday we had our labels and language conversation on the global campus. Colorado's in the building. Come on now. We had labels and language conversation on our global campus and had an incredible time. I've got to shout out our head of community, Ashley Wilmore, who sponsored yesterday's conversation. It was amazing. I am hoping it is recorded. I could have checked and I didn't. I'm hoping it's recorded because that's a conversation that I think everybody in the community should check out if you have a chance. One of the things that came out of it, and I'm gonna get into today's talk in a few, but one of the things that came out of it that I really liked, Orlando, Florida. We got more and more people in Florida. Like, I'm loving that. And Orlando is one of my favorite places to be. So if there's people in Florida, I'd love to be there with you. I like Universal Studios. Y'all can't keep all the good stuff to yourself. You know what I'm saying? See, now I don't forgot what I was saying. But anyway, we're doing great things are happening. Yesterday was so fun and it was recorded. Yes. Now I know what I was saying. Something powerful that came out of yesterday's discussion, and those Saturday conversations are more roundtable discussions. So everybody gets to contribute and gets to participate. It's absolutely lovely. But I think it was maybe Mark who mentioned that we're at this place where we've become a global village. It was either Mark or Kai. I think it was Kai, that we're at this place where we've become a global village as a society. But the fracture that we're experiencing is that we don't have a global language to accommodate the global society that we've become. We still speak in terms of being disconnected, being separated, being compartmentalized from each other. So wonderful conversation. And man, gave, as a person who communicates for a living, it gave me just a lot of good nuggets and gems. And so listen, check it out. Also want to do a shout out real quickly. Bob Swanson, he's not in the studio with us today because he's currently speaking at a UU congregation, Universal, let me make sure I say it right. I always mix it up. Unitarian Universalist congregation in Tupelo, Mississippi. And so he's delivering a speech today or talk today on the optics of it all. I actually got to check it out a little bit this morning, and I was really glad just to be there. I'm truly excited that one of our members is making a positive impact by serving as a communicator in a world where human connection and conversation is fracturing left and right. And I want to make sure that we cultivate a culture of supporting our members when they decide to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to be a voice for good in this world. I'm going to be a voice for humanity. There are so many voices in the world and none without their significance. There are voices for gods. There are voices for governments. We now need voices for humanity. That's where we need to be. And I'm so glad that Bob is one of those voices for humanity. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about our team is that, like, the people on our team, they're voices of humanity. They're voices for humanity. They're not voices for an agenda. They're not voices for any particular party. They're voices for humanity. And that's why I'm so proud to be able to work with them, proud to call them my team, and proud to call them my friends. Like, they're just really great people. So Bob, if you're watching, man, good job at what you're doing, and the rest of the team. I can't wait to see y'all spread off and do y'all things too. All right. Let's jump into it. Over the past few weeks, we've been exploring applying critical thinking to our relationships in a series of conversations that we've entitled "Falling in Love with Reason." So far, we've talked about friendship and kinship in a way that has been helping people process trauma, interrogate chemistry, and reorient their relationships in ways that make sense for them. This series has been transformative for many people, and today we're going to be moving full steam ahead in the direction of partnerships. The whole point of this series is fairly simple. If Bridge City is committed to building community beyond superstition, then we also have to be committed to doing relationships beyond superstition. What we're talking about today is demystified intimacy. We're challenging the idea that love and partnerships are magical, uncontrollable forces that just happen to us, and instead are suggesting that they are, in fact, stewardship projects that require our full cognitive and emotional faculties. In a religious context, superstition often looks like waiting for a word from God or feeling led. In a secular romantic context, it looks like finding, the one, or your soulmate, or just having that right chemistry while not dealing with the actual chemistry. The critique here is that superstition in relationships allows people to bypass responsibility. Superstition in relationships allows people to shift from accountability. If the universe brought us together, then the universe has to fix it. If God brought us together, then God has to fix it. If you're just the one, if you're just the soulmate, then there is nothing to fix. We just got to deal with what we got, you know? So Bridge City is taking a different approach to that. Doing relationships beyond superstition means acknowledging that agency is the engine. It's not a mystery why a relationship works or fail. It's usually a result of stewardship of the relationship. A major through line through our entire conversation has been that reason isn't the enemy of love. Reason is love with headlights. Headlights don't create the road, they just allow you to navigate it without crashing. Reason is how we see each other with clarity by centering curiosity. People fear reason because they think it will make them stop loving, but reason allows you to love the actual person and not the projection of who you think you are, who you think they are. You can't truly care for someone that you refuse to see clearly. Dang, I'm talking good already. You cannot, I got to say it again. You cannot truly care for someone if you refuse to see them clearly. How do I see you? Who are you? How am I so certain and I don't have any questions? How am I so certain and I have no curiosity about who you are, why you are, how you got here, why you feel the way that you are? If I truly care about you, I have to want to see you. Oh, damn, is this good already, y'all? If I truly care about you, then I need to be willing to see you clearly, not through rose-colored glasses of superstition, not through rose-colored glasses of romanticism, but I need to be able to see you clearly. If superstition is about reaching a conclusion, then reason is about maintaining curiosity. There is a difference between who we are meant to be together, as opposed to how are we actually growing together. Damn, this is good. No. Not what is this relationship meant to be? How are we actually growing together? Who? And so today's conversation is going to be a deep dive in reorienting ourselves and how we do partnership. If you're ready for this, will you remind somebody in the chat, because this is the basis of partnership, will you remind somebody in the chat that sharing is caring? Oh yeah, that's today's title. Sharing is caring, because this is the basis, this is the foundation of partnership. If you're not too bougie, go ahead and type it in the chat and remind somebody that if you're going to be a partner, you got to understand that sharing is caring. I know how you care when I see what you're willing to share. Don't tell me you care if you're not willing to carry anything with me. Sharing is caring. No, if we care about each other, there has to be some things that we are sharing. What are you sharing? What are you sharing? Partnership only happens when it's all leaders at the table. Oh, this is good. Yes. Sharing is caring, baby. Sharing, partnership only happens when it's all leaders at the table. I think that is a new paradigm for us. I think that is a scary paradigm for us. I'm gonna walk through this because I want to make this crystal clear this morning. I want to make this so good. The previous paradigms of partnerships, especially when it pertains to romantic relationships, we have treated them like only one leader is required. Yeah, we do. Because listen, we're building here. We're building beyond superstition. In our previous paradigms of relationships, in our previous approaches to partnerships, it's only required one leader. Yep, that's how we did it in romance. One person is the leader and the other person, you just there, you know? But partnership, it's only a partnership when it's all leaders at the table. Leaders are people who share developmental responsibility, which means that you have to grow as the relationship grows. As a leader in Bridge City, it's my responsibility to grow as Bridge City grows. Everybody that's helping lead Bridge City, it's their responsibility to grow as Bridge City grows, right? We share that developmental responsibility. Partnership is not a hierarchy, it's a merger of self-leaders. The way I define leadership is a commitment to being developmentally responsible for the management of people, places, systems, ideas, and time. That's what leadership is. Leadership means I love something enough to grow with it. I love something enough to be committed to grow into being able to help it get where I can see it going. It is a commitment to be developmentally responsible, which means I'm not just responsible for where it is today. I'm responsible for where it is tomorrow. I think this is one of many of the flags and the plays in many relationships now, is that most people only take responsibility for where the relationship is on the wedding day, and don't take responsibility for where the relationship goes after that. No, if we're going to be both leaders in this relationship, if we're going to be all leaders in this endeavor, then we've all got to be, in my humble opinion, we've all got to be developmentally responsible. All right. Leaders don't lead people. I think this is another misnomer in society. Leaders don't lead people. Okay. What makes someone a leader is not their ability to lead people. Okay, there's a problem with that type of a fixation, where you're attaching leadership to the ability to lead people, because then that means anybody somebody will follow is a leader. Therefore, a leader has no, ooh, I like this, operational definition. That's one of the words we got from yesterday's labels and language conversation. If leadership is defined by others, then it has no operational definition for the leader themselves. So what leadership is what I'm willing to do, what I'm willing to grow with. All right. So leaders don't lead people, they lead themselves in the management of a vision. All right. A leader is a person who takes responsibility for their own alignment and contribution to the shared vision. Now, I know many of y'all are thinking, like, why are you talking about leadership if we're supposed to be talking about partnership today? Because you missed it. I opened this conversation up with, in order for it to be partnership, we have to all be leaders at the table. And maybe one of the places our relationships have been really struggling is we don't like showing up in the room as leaders. Oh, this is good. I wish I was in the room with you right now. I want to see your face. When I step on people's toes, I want to see your face. So sometimes our relationships are crashing and falling is because we're shifting the burden of leadership to one person. And that at that moment, it is no longer a partnership. Okay. It's a mentorship. It's an apprenticeship, but it is not a partnership. So we're talking about leaders because a leader is a person who takes responsibility for their own alignment and contribution to the shared vision. One part, see, both of you got to be leaders. Everybody at the table got to be leaders. Some of you frustrated right now because you're in a relationship with someone who's not a leader. They don't have the ability to lead themselves. Sometimes the biggest question you can ask somebody to figure out if they're a leader or not is to say, how did you get here? How did you get here? And it's a very unassuming question. People don't never know where the question is coming from. How did you get here? And they're going to tell you, they're going to be honest with you. And many of the people will be like, I don't really know. And that's when this isn't a person who got here on purpose. This isn't a person who led themselves here. This is a person who is, I'm going to use an old preacher term, who's been tossed to and fro by the waves of life. No, this is not a person. This is a person who's surviving. This is not a person who's figuring it out and navigating. And so now you've gotten into a relationship with them because they had a cute smile, but now you got to carry the burden of the relationship because it's not a partnership. Because if it was a partnership, what's today's title? Sharing is caring. The moment you feel like, okay, no, I'm not gonna go there yet. I'm not gonna go there yet. Okay, let's go. So big point. People don't actually follow leaders. They follow vision. Okay? People don't actually follow leaders. They follow vision. There is nobody in Bridge City who's following me. Following me where? Which one of y'all want to look like me? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. No, nobody's following me. I don't want you following me. I don't want you seeing everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? No. Nobody in Bridge City is following me. We're all following the vision. That's the thing that brings us together. Goodness, this is gracious. This is good. So people don't follow leaders. They follow vision. They follow vision. A partnership is only possible when all parties are leading themselves toward that shared vision. We've all agreed on the direction that we're going, the vision, and we're moving there together. And we're taking responsibility on how we get there together. We're not just holding one or a few accountable for getting there. Everybody who's a part of the partnership is responsible for helping us get there. Now, see, if you're following Darante and not following the vision, then you're waiting for Darante to make the vision happen. And that's how so many people operate in their relationships. Instead of having a vision for the relationship, they have a husband. Instead of having a vision for the relationship, they have a wife with a really good job. Instead of having a vision for the relationship, they have these hand-me-down ideas and scripts that they've never even asked themselves, is that somewhere that I really want to be? Is this good, y'all? Whew. So you don't follow the person, you follow the vision you both agreed to pursue. This is the direction that we decided to walk in together. Oh, man. So whether your partnerships are monogamous, polygamous, polyamorous, Polynesian, hell, even Pentecostal, whatever your partnerships are, if it is to be a partnership, it needs to be leaders at the table. Okay? Care is helping someone through a season. Partnership is shared ownership of the season's outcomes. And see, that's really the difference between leaders and followers, is that followers don't take ownership of the outcomes. How you in relationship with somebody that you think is a partnership, but that person takes no responsibility for the outcomes. You remember the question that I asked you earlier, to ask somebody to know if you're dealing with a leader is to ask them, how did you get here? All right. See, that question is so important. Jalapeno. It's so important because you don't want to be in a relationship 8 years later asking the same question, how did we get here? And nobody has an answer because nobody has taken responsibility for the outcomes of the relationship. Because remember, I said in the beginning, the problem with superstition is that superstition allows us to bypass responsibility. Oh, man, I hope this is helping somebody. So to build a unified framework for partnership, we have to strip away the societal labels that often distract us. So whether you're sharing a bed or a boardroom, the fundamental mechanics of a high-functioning alliance are remarkably similar. Because a partnership isn't just a relationship. It is a strategic integration of lives or resources to achieve a shared output. We're trying to achieve something together. In today's conversation, we're exploring a unified way to define and evaluate any partnership, whether it be romantic, sexual, business, creative, community, co-parenting, whatever it is. And we're doing it by merging what life partnerships do best: attachment, care, identity, and endurance, with what business partnerships do best: clarity, governance, accountability, and shared outcomes. What if in your relationship, you're really good with care, but not good with clarity? What does that actually say about your care? Oh, I got to say it again. What if in your relationships you are really good at caring, but you're not great at getting clarity? What does that actually say about your capacity to care accurately? You know? Yeah, let's go there. See, what if you do attachment well, but what if your relationships have no governing structure? What if there's no accountability? And again, the shared outcomes. All right. So my goal is to move partnership away from being just a sentimental category into a functional category, shifting us from just how we feel to how we build. See, I grew up hearing the phrase running it like a business, always in a negative context. How many of you did you hear that? Did y'all grow up hearing that? That, you hear somebody say, oh, they running it like a business. It's always in the negative context. She's trying to run the family like it's a business or something. You've heard that? They're treating the church like it's a business. The company hasn't been the same since they started treating it like a business. And that one always confuses me, for sure. The company hasn't been the same since they started treating it like a business. Okay, whatever. At some point, in my early 20s, I finally started asking people the question, what do you mean when you say that? Do you mean treating it like you want it to succeed? Do you mean treating it like you want it to be profitable? Do you mean treating it like you want it to be organized? Because it's obvious that the negativity isn't attached to a specific type of business. The negativity isn't attached to bad business. It's attached to the concept of business itself. It's not you're treating it like a bad business. It's you're treating it like a business, period. Business is painted as is painted as both logical, as both logic and reason often are, as cold and calculating. So let's actually grab a definition of business so we can walk this dang dog. All right. Business defined. This is my definition. Business is the science of intentional stewardship. We're gonna start there. You hear me? Business is the science of intentional stewardship. It's the practice of being responsible. Damn, that's good. See, here's a fundamental truth. Here's a fundamental truth for today's conversation. Chaos is not a synonym for intimacy. When people say don't run it like a business, they are often defending their right to be unaccountable, disorganized, or vague. But by merging the heart of life partnerships with the bones of business partnerships, we create an intentional framework for high integrity alliances. Because the truth of the matter is, love without structure becomes chaos. Structure without care becomes cruelty. And so partnership requires both heart and bones. So this brings me to our first question of today's conversation. What if your partnership was a business? No, I mean that. No. What if your partnership was a business? What rating would it get right now? What if your partnership was a business? Just as is right now is a business. Where does it fall on the index? We're facing a cultural cognitive dissonance. We want our families to succeed and our communities to be sustainable. Yet we recoil at the tools, governance, metrics, and clarity that actually ensure success and sustainability. See, the misconception is that business equals calculating code, profit at all costs. And that's not the definition of business in any freaking dictionary. That is the sensationalism of cynicism. Oh, yeah. See, when I stand against superstition, I stand against all of it. Okay? There are no shortcuts here. Ain't no shortcuts here. Okay? No. So when we typically think of business, we think of it from the place of misconception. But the reality is business equals systems, clarity, accountability, and shared mission. Ooh. We're stripping away the cold and calculating stigma and revealing that the tools of business, watch this, accountability, governance, and clarity are actually the highest forms of care. When you take a look at that, when you ask yourself, oh, okay, yes, if in my everyday relationships, if in the partnerships that mean the most to me in my marriage partnership, maybe it's my boo thing, maybe it's my polyamorous life, whatever, however your shindig is going down, if your relationships do not have accountability, if it does not have some type of operating structure, and it does not have some forms of getting clarity on where we are and where we're going, how do we know what we're doing? How do we know that we have a healthy relationship? Is this good? Is this good? Yeah, a little pretty little boo thing. You know what I'm saying? No. We have to have clarity, we have to have accountability, and we have to have some type of governance or operating structure in our partnership. I'm going to make this make sense. Let's make some important distinctions, okay? These are some important distinctions. I've talked about this before in a few of my videos that I've done, because I've noticed that, I just noticed that some of our critique falls flat because it's not reasonable sometimes. Okay? So I want to make some important distinctions. Business does not equal for profit. Okay. Business does not equal for profit. Is everybody we clear on that? All right. That's a very important distinction. Oh, this is good. Because for whatever reason, I've noticed that Americans seem to think that only for-profit corporations, companies, or organizations are businesses. And I don't know where you're pulling that from. You're not going to pull that from the definition of a business. You're not going to pull that from the definition of for-profit, and you're not going to pull that from any IRS documents, which are the ones that do the defining for that. So no, business does not equal for-profit, and nonprofit does not equal anti-profit. Because sometimes when I hear people talk about nonprofits, they seem to talk about them as if, a nonprofit means they ain't supposed to have no profits. I want you to do the math about how that works. Okay? Please do the math. Nonprofit does not equal anti-profit. It means profits have to be reinvested in the mission. It means profits don't go to shareholders. It goes to employees. It goes into programs. All right? Okay. I hope this is helping somebody. I hope it is giving us some clarity. This is very important. See, your colleges, universities that operate like a business are still around. The ones that do not are not. All right? I hope this is good, man. That's right. It goes to the mission. So why are we talking about this? Darante, why are you talking about business? Well, I just kind of showed you, right? Because what I'm trying to highlight in today's conversation is I think we already know how to do partnerships better. I think we already know how to do relationships better. We just reserve it for business only. I mean, think about it. A marriage proposal is I do and I don't. A marriage proposal is will you marry me? Okay. A business proposal is specific terms and conditions. I actually have a book that I've been working on for years. I've not finished it, but it's called The Marriage Proposal. Because in my mind, at least I'm teaching my kids this. No, a marriage proposal needs to be an agreement of what this proposed marriage looks like. It can't be just a question. No, where are we going? Where are we going? Okay. And who's doing what? How do we get there? All right. So watch this. We're talking about this because I need you to understand that all partnerships must generate a surplus to survive. All partnerships must generate a surplus to survive. One of the number one reasons of divorce in marital partnerships is because how do you handle life when there's no surplus for living? It's called money problems. Y'all know money problems. Money problems. One of the number one reasons for divorce because we weren't clear on what we were going to do with money. It's just like, we just love each other so much. We just know we're going to do right by each other. And ain't nobody talked about where are the terms and the conditions. Where's the plan? Whether that profit in a marriage, that profit could be joy, or it could be security. In a community, that profit could be resilience. But if a partnership is unprofitable, draining more than it gives, it eventually goes bankrupt, whether emotionally or financially. And I think all of us have been through some emotionally bankrupting partnerships. Some of us have been through some financially draining partnerships. Come on now. Because most of us don't even give ourselves permission to approach partnerships in our life with clarity. It is chemistry over clarity. I just like how we feel together. You know? Accountability. Oh, I love that. Yes. Marriage started as an economic arrangement in old humans' economy. That is absolutely right. The expectation of love came much later. Accountability is an act of devotion. You know, it's an act of devotion. When you run it like a business, you're giving your partner the greatest gift possible: the safety of being known and the security of a plan. Partnership is a social technology that helps move the participating partners from emotional, relational, or financial scarcity to stability, and from stability to sustainability, and from sustainability to security, and from security to sovereignty. Like, that's a beautiful roadmap, right? Like, we're helping each other move forward. When you actually pay attention to the words and detach yourself from the sensationalism of cynicism, you'll soon discover that it's all business. It's either good business or it's bad business, but it's all business. I think every relationship, every partnership should be good business, which brings us back to the question: what if your partnership was a business? Is it healthy? Is it in the red or is it in the black? Is it thriving or is it surviving? How would your relationship be? How would your partnership be if you sat down and looked at it through the clarity, of looking at it through the lens of a business? And I'm not saying treat your marriage like a business. I'm saying measure your metrics like you care. Oh, is this good? That went in my notes, but that was good. That was good. Good business relies on a clear operating agreement where everyone knows the goal and feels their contribution is valued. Do you know how many relationships out here that we've put ourselves in where nobody knows the goal of the relationship? And so literally, and thank you for highlighting that, literally purity culture has locked us into a place where we only marry for sex. Like, we're missing out on the most powerful parts of a partnership. We have all of this social technology that we have created, and we don't even know how to use it anymore because we've reduced it through the lens of somebody else's religious superstition. And so now partnership is just the right to have sex. It's the right to have somebody to sleep with. And so now we've reduced the idea of marriage to sex. We've reduced the idea of partnership to just sex. And so then when we get in our relationships, it's just physical chemistry many times. And we don't have any type of operating agreement about what our actual goals are in the relationship. And it's funny because, like, when I say goals in the relationship, I'm not just talking about life goals, right? A lot of times we'll get in relationships and we'll have our life goals. Well, 5 years from now, I want to be this, I want to be debt free. No, where do you want to be with me? Where do we want to have grown by? What do we want to be different about the way we interact with each other 5 years from now? Is this good, y'all? Jalapeno, but habanera, hell yeah. Yeah. So now that we have a grounded understanding of business, now we can talk about partnership. A partnership is a voluntary bilateral commitment between two or more parties to pool specific assets. Those assets could be emotional, financial, intellectual, or physical, but they're pulling those assets toward a defined, mutually beneficial vision while both sharing the risk and the reward. This is good. So number one, partnership is voluntary. Number two, it is a bilateral commitment. We're in this together. We're in this together. A partnership is a mutual covenant of shared agency where two or more people choose a shared mission, pool risk and real reward, share power and responsibility. That is co-ownership, not convenience. Are we in this relationship just because we're conveniently together, or are we both owning an outcome that we think this relationship can produce? Have you ever heard anybody talk about relationships like this? Is this too technical, y'all? Y'all talk to me. Operated by agreed rules where there are clear expectations plus conflict methods. You listen to me. Like if y'all don't get anything out of this Falling in Love with Reason series, you should not be in any relationship where you are not safe to express your expectations. You know, that's right. Yeah, two or more people. As many people you want to be in there. You know, however you're Mono, Paulo, hey, Marco Polo. It's all good to me. You know. Oh, that's good. That's good. Operate by agreed rules, have those clear expectations and those conflict methods. If we're in this, we need to have clear expectations of how we operate with each other, and then commit to repair. The relationship is maintained, not merely enjoyed. So many times people want things to get better without doing better. Oh man. Okay, I got to say that one more time. I got to say it one more time. So many times people want the relationship to get better, but they don't want to do better. And like to me, that's ignoring the state of affairs. If you are in a situation, and this doesn't just apply to relationships, this applies to anything. If you are in a situation and your mindset is I want better, then you have to interpret that to I need to do different. Better equals different. You know, when someone offers me better, but it looks like the same, I know it's a lie. Damn, those are bars. When somebody offers me better, but it looks like the same, I know it's a lie. Because if I want better, that means I don't want to be where I am, which means I have to do something differently to get somewhere differently. So when we want better, what we really want is different. So if we're going to get better, we got to do better. And doing better doesn't start with doing more of the same harder. It means doing something different, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. It's the definition of insanity. No, if I want better, I got to do better. I got to do different. If I want better, that means I don't like what I have now, and that means what I have now is not enough, so I got to do different. Come on now, like y'all, woo, habanero. Listen, if those five aren't present, you may have a relationship, you may have a collaboration, a connection, a friendship, romance, entanglement, a situationship, or whatever the hell you're calling it. But baby, you do not have a partnership. Okay, which brings us to our next question of today: what makes it a partnership? What makes it a partnership? The litmus test for a partnership as opposed to a casual connection, which those are fine. I ain't saying don't have no casual connections. Go ahead and casually connect every now and then. It's good for you. It's good for you. So I'm not saying casual connections are bad. We're just talking about partnerships today. Have you some casual connections? Have you some simple transactions? Do something strange for some change if you want to. I don't know how you do with the poles or whatnot, stripping poles, up, down poles, however you're doing it. Again, but what we're talking about today is partnership. And the litmus test for a partnership is interdependency. You know, if one person's failure or success does not fundamentally impact the other's trajectory, it's a connection, not a partnership. Is this good? If one person's success or failure does not fundamentally impact the other's trajectory, it's a connection, not a failure. I mean, think about that. It's a connection, not a partnership. I mean, think about that. We're in relationship and I just failed big. We're in a partnership and I just failed big, and it does not impact you. It doesn't impact your plans. You know what I'm saying? So like, just imagine, okay, we'll use a husband and we'll use a marital couple. We use a marital couple. A marital couple, they met, well, okay, I'm gonna use husband and wife. So we use a husband and wife. And the husband comes home and he says, damn, babe, I just lost my job today. They laid me off. I don't know how we're gonna pay these bills. And she says, well, I had planned to go to this party with my girls and I'm going to spend this money. No. Wait a minute. You just heard that I just had this significant failure, that I just had a failure that impacts me gravely. And it does not fundamentally impact your trajectory. It doesn't fundamentally impact your plans. Oh, man. Oh, that's a problem. We're connected, but we're not partners here. Why? What's the name of today's conversation? Sharing is caring. No. Man. Okay. Flashback to my days when I was a pastor. The quickest way you could get fired from my team when I was a pastor. Y'all ready? Some of y'all can call me a jackass. I don't give a damn. I'm me, goddammit. Quickest way you can get fired, one of the quickest ways you can get fired from my team when I was a pastor, when I was a Christian pastor, is if we experienced a failure and you had no remorse. Like, I'd be like, what? Wait a minute. So we just experienced a significant failure. Like, we just lost something major. We tried to do something and didn't do it right. We messed up big time. I don't know what it is. And we all in the meeting and we're all frustrated trying to figure it out, and you on your phone playing Tetris. I'm like, oh man. Ooh, whoa. Nah. Also, if we're winning, we're doing well, and you over there on your phone playing Tetris. You're connected, but you're not partnered. You're not sharing. You know, I hate to pull a scripture, but I have to right here because it's so popularly known. But it's like, no, you got to rejoice with those who rejoice and cry with those who cry. You got to read the room. Like, no, if you can't read the room, you can't be in the room with me. No, I can't be over here crying and having a whole fit and you over there singing, you know, jump in, jump out, turn yourself about. Like, that's torture. We're not doing this. A relationship qualifies as a partnership when it has a shared mission, okay? There is a we goal. When it has shared stakes, both people risk something meaningful and gain something meaningful, you know? Shared governance. There is co-ownership. We have agreed roles. We have agreed decision rights. We have agreed accountability. If any one of these is missing, it's not a partnership yet. To evaluate or build anything, any qualifying partnership, we can use these 5 pillars that are derived from both legal business structures and psychological attachment theory. Sorry. First one, shared vision and core values, which I've been driving at all day. Shared vision and core values. In business, this is the mission statement. In romance, this is the family plan. Families don't have to keep happening on accident. Hello. We can have a plan. We can be prepared. When I wrote my first book, it was called Significant. And there was one chapter that was really hard for me to write because I was doing a lot of deep work on myself. I've never had therapy because I couldn't afford it. Never had therapy, so I couldn't afford it. So I had to learn how to be my own therapist. I've had one therapist session in my entire adult life, you know, and it was excellent. Oh my goodness, excellent. But in writing that chapter, I went back to my own childhood and just kind of dealt with what it felt like to be me, which was basically the reason I wrote the book, Insignificant. In 2014, which was the year that I deconstructed, it was also the year that I started smoking weed. I started getting very clear on my life. I realized I had been trapped in my head for a long time. And so I got really honest with myself. And one of the things I was honest about with myself about was the fact that I was living in the shadow of my own insignificance. And this is where I had been living. I'd been living my life like I was not significant. This is why I constantly needed validation and affirmation from my mentors and family members. Whew, man. And so I started wrestling that with really and just trying to figure out where it came from. I remember writing about it, and I realized, here it is. I'm gonna try not to cry, but I realized throughout my whole life as a child, maybe up until about sixth grade. Sixth grade. Well, no, let's go further. Yep. For my whole life, I had never really had my own bedroom. Starting as a child, it's just because of the way my family was dysfunctional. But I never had my own bedroom. Okay. Never had a wall that I could put a poster on. Never. Like I love to hear about people talking about how they grew up and different things that they could do. Because I kind of get this like, oh, so people really did do that, huh? I thought that was just in the movies. So people really did put posters on their walls. Look at there. So people really got their own room, And so I didn't for the majority of my life. A weed chill out in the campus would be so awesome. That's a part of rising season, by the way. And I realized, like, for my whole life, I'd never had a room of my own, never been able to, never had my own bed for real. And I was trying to figure out how long that had been with me. And I'm going to zig here. And I realized, like, no, D, it's not just that you never had your own room. Dude, me too. Didn't have my own room until I was a grown man. I realized, like, when I was born, I didn't even have my own room. It was like I didn't have a crib. I wasn't expected, so I wasn't prepared for, nor was I planned for, and that had impacted my psychology and the way that I showed up in the world, because I ended up living in a place where, Darante, nobody's here for you. Nobody's checking for you. Nobody's preparing for you. Nobody's welcoming you. There was no baby showers, type of thing. And I realized, like, damn, dude, you've been living here your whole life, and now it's time to make that transition and rediscover your significance. And so I said that to say that family doesn't always have to be an accident. It can be planned. Yeah, goodness gracious. I got so much I want to say on that. But I'm gonna leave it alone because we're talking on partnership right now. Who, man, see. Oh, I love that room in the basement. Oh, see, I got some flashbacks. Funny stories. Y'all gonna get me messed up. Okay, listen. All right. So in business, it's the mission statement. In romance, it's the family plan. Are we building the same house, or is one of us building a skyscraper and the other of us just trying to build a cabin? That's what the question of vision and core values answers. It's not only are we headed in a similar direction, it's also, are we trying to get there in a similar way? That's what partnership is. This is why, yes, I am very picky about the people that I partner with. It's not just because, yeah, well, Darante, we're all headed in the same direction, but yeah, I don't know if you're trying to get there the same way that I'm trying to get there. Because I'm trying to get there reducing harm and increasing well-being. If you have an excuse for causing harm, we're not trying to get there the same way. Okay? And that happens in our romantic relationships as well. Yes, we both want to be happy, but what is your definition of happy? Do we want to be happy the same way? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk that stuff through. You must align on the direction of travel. Where are you going? Even if our methods differ, where are we going and how are we getting there? What are we building, protecting, or advancing together? Are we working on a life, a home, a family, a culture, a future? That's for the romantic aspect. For sexual, we want it to be safe, honest, erotic connection with agreed meaning and limits. For professional, whether it's a product or a service, we want revenue, impact, and reputation. If it's a community like our community, Bridge City, then it's a mission, culture, and a people care system, a continuum of care. The big test here is if someone asked you and your partners are your however many partners you got, if someone asked you, what are y'all doing? Could you answer in one sentence? Let's sit with that one for a minute. For those of you who are in partnerships, whether it's your business partnerships, your romantic partnerships, your freaky, kinky, sexual, link up partnerships. I was looking for more words there and couldn't find them, but you know where I'm going. Whatever type of partnership it is, if someone came to you right now and asked y'all, where are y'all going? Could you answer in one sentence? And even if, and not only that, not only could you answer in one sentence, would you both say the same thing? Would you both say something similar? Because if you can't, you're making memories, but you're not making moves. All right. So let's talk about, oh man, this is good. All right. So the next one is complementary contribution. This is what makes it a partnership. Do we have complementary contribution? Partnership thrives on a 1 + 1 = 3 logic. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. You slow, but you worth waiting on. You slow, but I'm gonna wait right here for you. I'm gonna say it again. Here we go. Partnerships thrive on a 1 + 1 = 3 logic. They die on a nothing from nothing leaves nothing logic. Okay. They thrive on a 1 + 1 = 3. Listen, if you and I coming together doesn't create something different, it's not a partnership. It's just a good time. It's just a good time. If you and I coming together doesn't add something to both of us, listen, it's not a partnership. It's just a good time. And it can be a really, really good time. It can be one hell of a good time. But if it does not lead to bringing value to the both of our lives, it's not a partnership. Now, 1 + 1 = 3 in this house. You know what I'm saying? Each party must bring something the other lacks or the other needs to scale. The question becomes, what is the specific value add of each partner? And you got to be careful here, because you're not determining the value of people. All right. You're not determining, ain't nothing wrong with a good time. You're not determining the value of people. You're quantifying the value add to the relationship, right? Contributions aren't always identical. One partner may provide capital or security, and the other partner may provide labor and nurturing, but they must be mutually perceived as equitable. If we don't view each other's contribution to the relationship as equitable, it's not a partnership, and we're being dishonest about it, right? Okay, so this is what be killing relationships. Let's talk, man. Like, damn, I want to do a whole relationships conference now. Like, no, because this is what be killing relationships, right? When when you feel like you're doing more, but you won't say more. That's when you know you've left partnership territory. No, I'm not treating it like a partner if I can't hold you accountable. Damn, that's good. No, I'm not treating you like you're a partner if I'm not holding you accountable. You know what I'm saying? No, I gotta hold you. I gotta hold you accountable. Hey, I feel like I'm pulling 80% of the load right now. What happened? You going through something right now? What do we need to do? Where do we need to shift at? Do we need to revisit our operating terms? Do we need to revisit our marriage proposal? Do we need to update our terms and conditions? But whatever it is, we can't stay operating like this, because we're no longer operating as a partnership. Now, if you don't want it to be a partnership no more, if you want to be an employee of the household and not a partner in the household, then we can make that switch if you okay with that and I'm okay with that. But what I wanted was partnership. So let me know where you are. But we can't run away from talking about it. That's the superstition. The superstition, and this is why I'm taking the long way around here, because the superstition is relationships fix themselves because we love each other. The reality is we fix the relationships because we love each other. And that's the real thing. And again, whether this is romantic relationship, whether this is professional relationships, whatever it is, nothing fixes it unless we're fixing it. Whew. Habanera, y'all. Somebody. But it's the same with the world. Nothing fixes the world until we fix it. Okay, I'm sorry. Each person reliably contributes something that the other genuinely needs. It's not equal in amount, but it's fair in value and effort. You know, we all have different things that we value. We all have different things that we care about. And this is why it's so hard for us, because we've tried to live by society's rules instead of our own conscience and clarity. Like, I know society says I'm supposed to want this in a relationship and that's going to make me happy, but why can't I just ask myself what the hell I want in the relationship and bring that? Why does what I want have to go through that filter? Oh man. Yes. So we start asking the hard questions. If we remove sex, if we remove money, if we remove status or convenience, what value still remains on both sides? You know? And if you feel that value is changing, communicate it. Look, listen, y'all. And I'm gonna say this because this is probably one of the only communities where we can say stuff like this. Breakups are natural. Divorce has been so demonized for so long. It's time to grow out of that bullshit, y'all. Breakups are natural. People are individuals. The person you picked yesterday may not be that person anymore. But we have definitely cultivated a society where we force people to stay in stuff, that's actually killing them. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Well, I don't want to say nothing because that might mean the marriage is over. What if it is over? See, I think when we stop demonizing breakups, we'll be able to break up and still build. I'm going to say that again. When we stop demonizing breakups, when we stop demonizing divorce, we'll actually be able to do a better job of breaking up and still being able to build. Oh man. Oh my goodness. The question becomes, what is the intellectual or emotional capital being reinvested into the mission? What's the mission of the partnership? Not the mission of the people in the partnership. What's the mission of the partnership? What's the mission of the partnership? What are we doing together? Okay, not you doing you and me doing me, and we just so happen to be in the same house. At that moment, it's not a partnership. Not for real, for real. No. What from what we do gets reinvested into the mission of the partnership to where we're headed next. All right, this next one, risk and liability. Do you have any skin in the game? Oh man, this is what separates partners from consultants or just somebody to date or just some sneaky link. Like, nah. There has to be some skin in the game. If this fails, do we both lose something significant? That's how you know there's skin in the game. That's how, no. If this fails, do we both lose something significant? Do we both lose something significant? Real partnership requires shared vulnerability. If we in this and it fails and I lose and you can still be okay, it's not a partnership, it's a setup. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've counseled so many people in my life as a pastor, and I was like, no, this is clearly not a partnership. This is a setup. Yeah, when this all goes downhill, you're going to be left holding the bag. This is a setup, okay? Real partnership requires shared vulnerability. In business, it's capital and reputation. In romance, it's time, emotional safety, and often shared assets. Partners have skin in the game, whether it's time, money, emotional labor, reputation, opportunity, cost, exclusivity, caregiving, legal exposure, whatever it is, you got to have some skin in the game. What do we each lose if this fails? What do we each gain if this works? That's another type of person that I don't like working with me in partnership. A person who don't see what they get if we win. Like, because then I'm like, so what are you motivated by? You know, I ain't saying you got to be motivated by gains, but if we're in a partnership to achieve a mission and you don't see you getting any benefits from the mission, I'm going to be concerned that you're not approaching this with the gravity that this requires. Because to pull from another Sunday session, this is kind of a big deal, right? So it's no, what do we lose if this fails, and what do we gain if this works? Are we, if this works, are we both excited about the outcomes? So I think that's what I love about the team for Bridge City right now, is that I think we're all aligned on being excited about, oh no, this is going to be dope if this works. No, if this works, this is going to be one of the coolest things ever. No, we got Bridge City campuses all across the globe, and it's filled with people who are as cool as we are. Oh my goodness, this is about to be the dopest thing ever. This might be revolutionary. You know? I mean, that's what I think. Next one, fourth one, governance and infrastructure. And I've been hitting at this all day long. The operating agreement, right? Every partnership needs an operating system. This is how I encourage people to reapproach marriage proposals. And now let's highlight the roles. Who owns what? And I'm not talking about assets. I'm talking about responsibility. Who owns what? Who owns this decision? You know, who owns that decision? Who owns this responsibility? Who owns this task? Because if you're just leaving it to chance, you're just creating friction. No, who does what? We can talk about it. Let's get clear on it. Before I say, watch this. Before I say I do, don't I need to know what I'm saying I do too? No. Oh, man. Roles, decisions. How do we decide? You know, you see something that you really want. We're sharing money now. So how do we decide on big purchases? Do we have a clause in here that says, okay, so for purchases of over $5,000 out of the main account, we need both partners' agreement, all partners' agreement. Boundaries. And this is one that people seem to be afraid to talk about in partnerships. No, what's off limits? What are lines that can't be crossed? And then finally, accountability. What happens when we miss? That's what accountability is, right? What happens if we miss? If we don't hit the goal that we've come up with for this partnership, what happens? How do we adjust? How do we recalibrate? Yes, I love that. Operating agreement systems requires amendments and updates. Yes, it does. Which means what we write down today, we got to come back and revisit that thing. What we agree on to today, like y'all hear me say all the time, I update my realism in real time because life changes just like that. The test here is when you disagree, do you have a method or is it just moods? When you disagree, is there a methodology in resolving the disagreement, or is it we just mad at each other until we forget why we mad? This is when I've told y'all before, my wife and I, we used to have like huge arguments. Like she gets so mad at me, she go outside and sit in the driveway. Sorry for telling you business, baby. She go outside and just be sitting in the driveway, arms folded. And I'm like, hey, you is embarrassing me. Don't do that. Don't be sitting out there. Not everybody know we just had a big old argument, But we used to have these big old arguments. And finally, in the arguments, we got into this phase where I said, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Are we still planning to be together after this conversation or not? Are we going to still be in this conversation? Are we still going to be in this relationship after this conversation ends? If we're planning on staying in this relationship after this conversation ends, then let's talk to each other like we plan on staying in the relationship. So that's having a methodology, right? Trust isn't a feeling, it is a structure. It's honesty norms, disclosure expectations, and even privacy rules. It's reliability metrics. Okay. Man, this is good. It's follow through. It's consent and respect protocols. Can we be fully informed, fully respected, and still fully free? Trust is a structure of reliable metrics and consent protocols. All right. So let's bring us to this last one. And this is so important. Conflict resolution and repair. All systems experience friction. A partnership is defined by how it handles it. What is our protocol for disagreement? This allows you to establish a non-adversarial conflict resolution style. In a partnership, the problem is the enemy, not the partner. What's the problem here? Watch this. I refuse to engage in any conversations with people who are going to treat me like the problem and not the problem like the problem. Like, there is a problem, but we won't solve that problem if we're treating each other like the problem. I mean, sometimes somebody might be the problem now. We got to identify the problem and actually solve it. The problem is not the partner, or the problem is the enemy, not the partner. Partnerships assume friction and plan for it. So what are conflict resolution steps that we've talked through? Like, these are built into a partnership agreement and a business partnership agreement. These are built into it. Why do we care more about our businesses than we do our relationships that actually impact our lives every day? Like, no, what are the conflict? Look, we've never had an argument before, but so before we get there, again, family doesn't have to be an accident. Before we get there, let's go ahead and determine what the conflict resolution steps are. Let's go ahead and establish apology and restitution norms. Don't force me to have to wonder if you're going to apologize. No, let's have that up front. Let's go ahead and no, we have apologizing norms. Goodness, this is good. Man. Yes. Apology plus restitution norms, regular check-ins, and renegotiation permission. Okay. I know we said this is how we're going to do this, but can we come back to the table and renegotiate that? Because now that we've actually been living that, now that I've actually been carrying that particular load, I don't like the way it feels. So can we renegotiate where we are and how we do this? Because otherwise, if we can't, it's not a relationship. It's a trap. It's a hostage situation. It's us holding each other hostage until somebody taps out. It's like, no, we need the ability we need permission to renegotiate. I know I said I was going to do that thing in the bed that you like, but maybe I don't like it that much no more. Renegotiate. Do we have a way back to us after disappointment without someone begging? If someone is always begging in your relationship, there's a problem. Because then beggars can't be choosers. And if beggars can't be choosers, then choosers are not leaders. Anybody who's in the relationship needs to be choosing to be there. Damn, this is good, man. So it's how do we get back to us? And the thing is, if you don't have an operating agreement, you don't even know what us is. If you don't have a shared vision, you don't know what us is. So many times when you're talking about getting back to us, you're talking about getting back to memories. Oh man. Most people think they're trying to fix their relationship, and what they're really trying to do is go back in time. All right, I'm gonna move on. That one, I felt like that one went deep. So if you're wondering, is this person actually my partner? Ask yourself if you could fill out a unit operating agreement with them. Is this someone I could sit down and write out an agreement of where we're headed, how we're going to get there, and who's responsible for which parts to get us there? because that's how I used to define partnership. Partnership means everybody's responsible for a part. And if you don't know your part, how are you doing your part? Hello. What are we actually trying to create together? Maybe it's a family. Maybe it's a tech startup. Maybe it's a neighborhood garden. Maybe it's a homeless shelter project. Maybe it's a Bridge City local campus where you can do all of the above. Hint, hint. Audit the equity. Do I feel like I'm carrying 90% of the risk with only 10% of the reward? That's where the majority of my relationships lived for the first 30 years of my life. Carrying 90% of the risk with only 10% of the reward. And then review the governance. When we fight, are we trying to win or are we trying to solve? That's, what are you doing? When like this, I'm an argumentative person. This is one thing you can learn about me. I'm an argumentative person, but only with people that I love and I care about. I only argue with people that I care about. Other people, I'm just like, why are we arguing? Like, you have no utility in my life. I have no utility in your life. Why are we arguing? Why are we in each other's face? But when it comes to the people that I love, I'm like, why are you like this? Why are you like this? You know? But it's like, no, when we fight, are we trying to win or are we trying to solve? And this is a sneaky area, right? My wife put LOL in the chat. She knows me. This is a sneaky area because most of us are still dealing with our own trauma around conflict that automatically puts us in defense posture when conflict shows up. And the problem is, if you're in defense posture, you don't go into reconnaissance posture. Mm-hmm. You don't go into interrogative mode. You don't go into investigative mode. You don't actually try to interrogate the problem. You don't try to understand the problem. You don't try to analyze the problem. You only try to defend your position. And at that moment, that's a flag on the play. At that moment, you're no longer engaging your partner like a partner. You're no longer engaging your partner like they are your partner. You are engaging them like they are your opponent. And why would you marry your opponent? Why would you be in relationship with your opponent? If every time conflict shows up in your relationship, you go into defense posture, that is a safety cue. Man, this is good. This is good. And so you either have to deal with, am I safe in this relationship? Because that's a serious question. Or do I even know how to be safe in relationships? Because if I'm going into defense posture every time conflict shows up, that likely means I'm also going out of my way to avoid conflict, which is also creating more conflict. Man, I hope this is helping somebody today. Oh my goodness. So when we fight, are we trying to win or are we trying to solve? Yeah. As far as partners in my life, I only want problem solvers. I only want problem solvers. I know you pointing out the problem. That's not a flex to me. That's not a flex to me. Being able to point out the problem, unless you can see cancer with your bare eyes, it's not a flex. You know, but being able to sit with the problem, being able to navigate the problem, being able to say, ooh, answer that question. What did I say? I told it was going to come back to haunt us. How did we get here? If the problem is here, it didn't just show up. It's not just some pink elephant in the room that just floated out of the sky. If the problem is here, we brought it here. If the problem is here, it's here because of something we're doing or not doing. Again, if we want better, we have to do different, but defending never lets us get to different. Dude, habanero. Yes. Man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So real partnership is the transition from me versus you to us versus the objective. It's no longer me versus you. That's right, Ashley. Sharing is caring. You know, it's us versus the objective. All right. So when the problem shows up, do we see the problem as each other, or do we see the problem as something that is standing in between us and our best? Because if we see it that way, then we're on the same side. Like if all of your arguments with your partners, you're always on different sides. Like, how is that happening? You know, we're supposed to be on the same side of the problem. We're both supposed to be solving this thing together. It's not me versus you. It's us versus the objective. If that shift hasn't happened, you're just two people making memories. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want my partnerships to just make memories. I'm going to lose those anyway. Dementia running my family. I don't want my partnerships to just make memories. I want my partnerships to make moves. I want partnerships that move mountains. I want partnerships that build bridges. I want partnerships that produce progress. Where are we going and how are we getting there? And so this is my last question of the day. Damn, we're doing good. What if we've been mislabeling our relationships? So this is that cornerstone piece right here. There are levels to relationships. We can be connected and not in covenant. And if we don't have a language for the levels of engagement, we don't have a way of interrogating distance. Every relationship is not a partnership. And if you treat relationships that are not actively partnerships like partnerships, you're going to get burned. And I can say that because I've done it over and over and over again. Again, this isn't just romantic relationships. It's romantic, business, professional, community. I've worked on so much stuff in my life where I didn't pay attention to the levels of engagement. Like, no, damn, I'm at 90% in and you at 10% in, and yet I'm calling you an equal partner. How do we get there? Oh man, and that came from a little bit of my superstition. My superstition was you just call those things that be not as though they were. So like if you're around me long enough, you'll know that I praise people. Like I praise people. You may not even be doing that good, and I'm gonna still praise you anyway. But sometimes I praise people so much that they start thinking they're doing what I'm praising them for, and instead of using the praise as motivation to do better. It's like, all right, I'm doing good. Look at that. I guess I ain't got to do nothing then. I'm going to take a break. He said, I'm doing good, man. Like, no, so sometimes I praise people out of performance, right? I done praised them so much that they didn't stop doing stuff. But every relationship is not a partnership. So let's kind of walk through some of these levels. We're going to start level 0. I'm a programmer, so everything starts at 0. Nothing starts at 1 for me. Everything starts at 0. Connection, right? This base level of relationships is connection. Chemistry, friendship, shared interest. There's no shared stakes, right? We got shared interest. I was connected because I noticed you like Dragon Ball Z and WWE 2. I was connected because I heard you talking about Law and Order SVU, and that's my show. I was connected because I heard you tell a Family Guy joke. You know, something like that. We're connected because you were wearing the same sports team jersey that I like. Those are connections. We're connected because we were standing in the grocery store and I smelled your perfume and just had a spine go up my back. We're connected because we've had these moments of interaction that says there is some chemistry to us, but this is where we start, not where we finish. This doesn't tell us anything about the relationship. It just tells us there's some attraction here. Oh, this is good. All right. The level 1 is then collaboration. All right. Now we're not just connected, but we're working together. We're working together, but it's easily reversible. Either one of us can step away at any time, and the risk is limited. Level 2 is commitment. where there is some exclusivity, some priority. Maybe it's just me and you, or maybe it's just me, you, and them two. However you do it. But there's some exclusivity and there's some priority, and the stakes are moderate, but it's still loosely governed. That's kind of like dating, right? This is commitment. We're committed to each other. We're dating, but then partnership is not just we're committed to each other, it's we're committed to a direction. We have a shared mission, we have shared stakes, we have shared governance, and we have a repair plan. This is where partnerships live, in the realm of shared mission, in the realm of shared ownership, right? Level 4 is covenant. I just like this one because I used to be a Christian preacher, and covenant is so fun. But covenant, high stakes plus deep integration, is when we're getting into legal integration, financial integration, and we're integrating our family identities. These create formal protections. When you think of covenant, think of Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? These are your bannermen. We're in covenant. I pledge my banners to House Martin. I don't know if they had a House Martin, but if they did, it'd be me. Okay, I'm back. All right, so these are 4 levels of relationships. You can be deeply in love at level 1 and 2, but you can be you can even be highly productive at level 1 and 2. But partnership begins at level 3. And I think sometimes what happens is people have the connection, they have the chemistry, but they never graduate into working together. Or they start working together, but you never graduate into actually living together. There are so many people who live together while doing life separately. Can I say that again? There's so many people who are living together, but they're doing life separately. And I'm not saying that's negative by default. I'm saying it's not efficient. Like, if you got 99 problems and efficiency ain't one, do what you want to do. But if you're trying to actually, listen, relationships are not just feel-good moments, they're social technology. And I am convinced as a sociologist that much of the fragmenting of our society has come because our relationships have been hijacked by superstition instead of being grounded in reason. Like, we're afraid to be reasonable in our relationships. We're afraid to ask the other person we're in a relationship with, hey, how much money did you spend on that? We're afraid to be reasonable in our relationship. We're afraid to say, this is actually a problem and it's kind of bugging me. Maybe I should say something about this. We're afraid to be reasonable in our relationships. We're afraid to sit down and say, hey, these are actually my expectations of you. Now, you don't have to agree to those expectations, but these are the expectations. This is actually what I want from you. This is what I need from you. Okay? And you can say, I either get that, I want to be a part of that, or like, oh, I didn't know that's what you wanted. Because you're a full autonomous human being, right? See, by mislabeling our relationships, by not managing our relationships properly, we're actually putting all of ourselves back into a type of social slavery, a type of social bondage, where even in the relationships that mean the most to us, we are not being our authentic selves, and that is not helping anybody. Okay, I got to stop preaching because I get up out of here. Zerner got to go and celebrate his brother's birthday. I cannot keep him in backstage too much longer. So a partnership is not just closeness, it's co-ownership of a shared life outcome with shared stakes and shared rules. Partnerships fail when the scope is undefined. Are we partners in life? Maybe we're just partners in parenting. Or maybe we're just partners in a project, but we've got to understand that scope. People fight because one person thinks the relationship is level 3 and the other thinks it's level 1. Have you ever been in a relationship where you've been giving level 3 commitment? Like, you're giving full partnership commitment, and the other person in a relationship is just connected. Like, hold on, I'm partnered, but you connected. Oh man. Oh, this is good. So, damn it, y'all. Like I've enjoyed. I cannot believe we're closing this series out next week, because this has been like one of my favorite ones to do. And I didn't think it was going to be my favorite one. I'm going to be very honest with you. I only did this one because it's February. I did it February, and it seemed like it was gonna, it's February. So you got to talk about love. And this seemed like such a cool topic to talk about. And damn, it's been better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I don't want to end this series, because it's helping us grow up in ways that we don't really get these conversations. This series is effectively an invitation to grow up. It's an invitation to grow up. It's an invitation to stop asking the gods or the universe for a good life and start building one with the people in your life. That is the social utility of relationships. The social utility of relationships is to have people to impact your world with. Is to have people to work with, to love with, to hold. So when you have a hard day, to have somebody to remind you that there's better days ahead. Relationships aren't just how we feel, they're how we build. I got to say that again. Relationships are not just how we feel. They're how we build. Talking about headlights. We've talked about how reason isn't the enemy of your heart, it's the protection of your heart. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you to have a love that is blind. I want you to have a love that is brilliant. I want you to have relationships where you aren't stumbling in the dark, hoping the universe or some superstition keeps you on the road. I want you to be able to look at the person next to you and see hope and see reason. I want you to have relationships where you aren't stumbling in the dark. Whether you're at home, whether it's your business, whether it's your community, I want you to build the type of relationships in your life where you can proudly say, I see you clearly, I know where you're going, and I know that we're building a structure that can carry us there. Because so many people are locked and trapped in relationships right now where they don't see each other clearly, where they don't know where the direction is headed, and they don't know if they have a structure that can actually get them there. If you're tired of just making memories and ready to start making moves, then you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Because Bridge City isn't just a place to gather. It's not just a place to get together. It's a place to assemble. We don't gather at Bridge City, baby. We assemble. Avengers, assemble. We assemble. It's a partnership. This is level 3 and level 4 commitment to building a world that makes sense. We aren't here because we felt led by the Spirit or Scripture. We're here because we're stewards. We're leaders who have pulled up to the same table to manage a shared vision of community, empathy, and progress. So here's my invitation to you today. As I do every Sunday, join the bridge. Don't just connect with us. Partner with us. When you join Bridge City, you aren't signing up for a newsletter. You're saying that I share the mission of helping people connect better, build better, and live better. That I'm willing to have skin in the game. That I'm ready to lead myself in the management of our shared vision. If you're ready to turn the headlights on, not just in your romance or your business, but in your world, click that link. Scan the code. Let's stop waiting for a good life to happen to us and let's start building one together. Join the community, introduce yourself, and take the necessary steps to moving from being interested to getting involved. I'm Darante LaMar Martin, and this is Bridge City. Let's make some moves. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
What another great session today. Be sure to leave your favorite takeaway in the comments below, or join us on the global campus and keep the conversation going in the comments. Speaking of, If you're making the decision to join Bridge City today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We're glad to have you here and be part of our growing community and can't wait to see you get involved. Your first step? Click the link on screen. There, you can take your first steps as a new member on our global campus. Once you're in, it's easy to get involved. We have a pathway in place for you to learn about the Bridge City campus and mission. So by the time you finish your first steps, you'll not only know more about your new community, but how to plug in and make a difference. So if you're ready to join, click the link now to get access to member-only content. We have conversations, clubs, and even courses. We can't wait to welcome you. And for everyone, if you value these conversations and believe in the work we're doing as a global community, let's take a moment to pause for generosity. Your support helps make this community accessible, sustainable, and growing. It empowers our bridges to not only reach further, but support more people on the journey. With the little support we've received so far, we've been able to accomplish so much, impacting hundreds of people through these Sunday sessions, events, and of course our global campus. But imagine how much more we could be supporting, establishing, and promoting with consistent financial support. Your weekly or monthly support, large or small, empowers us to establish new spaces, train new leaders, and power new projects that move people forward and help them connect better. That's what Bridge City is all about. The donation link and QR code are on the screen now. For anyone who is willing and able to make a statement of financial support today, we appreciate you. You make this possible. And lastly, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. Help us reach new places by sharing this experience with someone and showing them there's life after uncertainty. Together, we can reach the world.
Thank you for joining us for the Falling in Love with Reason series. For our visitors, we hope to see you again next weekend. The first time you're a visitor. The second, you're a guest. If you come back a third time, you're as good as family. To our members, stay updated on events and activities by checking the Commons, clubs, and the Global Campus calendar. That's all for today, Bridge City. Have a people-centric, forward-thinking kind of week. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Made it through hunger, you made it through pain, you made it through drought and you made it through rain. You rose over conflict, you've conquered your shame. You've done it before and you'll do it again.
You made it through hunger, you made it through pain,
Yeah.
you made it through drought and you made it through rain. You rose over conflict, you conquered your shame.
Yeah.
You've done it before and you
Do it again. There is nothing that can ever take your place, 'cause you made it. You are one of us, this global human race. You made it here.
There is nothing that can ever take your place.
'Cause you made it here. You are one of us, this global human race. You made it here.
You made it through darkness, you made up your mind.
Yeah.
You dealt with the hardest of times.
Oh.
You're finding your joy now and learning to shine.
Oh.
Enjoying your voice and reclaiming your time.
Again, you
Made it through darkness,
Yeah.
made up your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
You dealt with the hardest of times.
You're finding
Finding your joy,
your joy now.
learning to shine.
Enjoy.
Enjoying your voice and reclaiming your time.
There is nothing take your place. You are one of us, this global human race. Oh, there's nothing that could ever take your place. Is anybody glad that you made it?